Hi guys, welcome back to Learning English and Literature. In this video, I will show you the two ways of presenting your WASSCE summary answers. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and let's continue to reach a wider African audience. A summary is a part which tells you about the whole. The summary must convey the same meaning as the passage. The only difference between the summary and the original passage is the size or the number of words, but both must contain the same meaning. If you read the summary, there should be no difference between the summary and the original passage. The summary must contain every meaning the passage contains. Now, WASSCE summary carries 30 marks, usually 5 marks for each answer. There are usually 6 sentences, okay? Candidates are usually asked to write 6 sentences, so you have 5 marks for each sentence. Now, if you make errors in spelling, punctuation marks, grammar, wrong use of capital and small letters, you will lose half mark for each error. If you add extraneous or irrelevant materials, you will lose 1 full mark. So just go straight to the point. Do not embellish. If your answer is not in a complete sentence, you would lose half the full mark. That means you will lose 2.5 marks. If you copy verbatim from the passage, mindless lifting, you will score 0. Now, this is taken from the WASSCE coordination document. Here you'll find the penalties for summary writing. Deduct half a mark for any grammatical error in each correct answer. That means if your answer is correct, but there are grammatical errors, you will lose half a mark for each error. Deduct 1 mark for inclusion of extraneous materials. I've told you before, do not embellish. For every correct answer that is not written in a sentence, award half of the marks, okay? Now, after awarding half of the marks, that's not all. The examiner will now go back to check again if there are grammatical errors or spelling errors. You lose marks again. E, for mindless lifting, if you copy verbatim from the passage, you score 0. Where 2 points are made in one sentence, award marks for one and disregard the other, okay? If a candidate writes more than the required number of sentences, for example, if they ask you to write 6 sentences and you end up writing 7 sentences, what that means is that they will mark the first 6, okay? They will mark the first 6 and they will disregard the others. Okay, now let's look at the sentence method. Here, you must present all your responses in complete sentences. That means every response must begin with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. These are WASSCE summary questions. In one sentence, state the purpose of a Go dictionary. In 2 sentences, one for each states 2 disadvantages of constantly referring to the dictionary when reading a passage. In 3 sentences, one for each, summarize the 3 steps that a reader should take before referring to a dictionary. Now, this is the format of WASSCE summary questions. Now, question A, the first question there, it says, in one sentence, state the purpose of a good dictionary. Now, this is the response. A good dictionary provides more information about a language. For this response, the candidate would score 5 marks. But if there are grammatical errors or spelling errors or mechanical errors, for example, if the candidate fails to include the full stop here, at the end of the sentence, the candidate will lose half a mark. If the candidate also fails to begin with a capital letter, if the candidate begins this sentence with a small letter A, the candidate will lose half a mark, okay? If the candidate also capitalizes the letter D in the dictionary, the candidate would lose half a mark. So this is the correct answer subject to the penalties, okay? So in this sentence method, just write your answers in full sentences and observe and avoid mechanical errors. For the question 2, in 2 sentences, one for each, state 2 disadvantages of constantly referring to the dictionary when we're reading a passage. Now, this is question B. There are two sentences here. Present your answers like this. B, I. It impedes the reader's understanding of a passage. BII, it slows down the reading speed. Remember, both answers are in complete sentences, but this is how you present, you write them in sentences, you separate them, okay? So note this. For question 3, in 3 sentences, one for each, summarize the 3 steps that the reader should take before referring to a dictionary. This is question C. So he should guess the meaning of the unfamiliar word. That's under C now. He should read the whole passage. He should study the structure of the word. So this is how you present your summary answers for WAEC using the sentence method. The preamble method comes with lots of technicalities. Here, you use an introduction followed with a colon before presenting your answers in phrases. Now, separate your answers using semicolons and end the last phrase with a full stop. Now, take note. Also, after the colon, begin each answer with a small letter. Now, let me explain this. For the question B, in 2 sentences, one for each, state 2 disadvantages of constantly referring to the dictionary when reading a passage. Remember, you're stating 2 disadvantages. So you begin with an intro. The preamble states that you must introduce your answers. So the introduction of the preamble simply means the reconstruction of the question itself. The disadvantages of constantly referring to the dictionary when reading a passage is that then you give a column. 1, impedes the reader's understanding. Now take note of this. The first letter there is a small letter. Do not begin it with a capital letter, okay? Impedes the reader's understanding. Then you separate your first answer from the second answer with a semicolon. Slows down the reading speed. Then you end your answers with a full stop. Now, let me take this over again. You begin with an introduction, okay, which is a reconstruction of the question itself. Then you use the colon to show that you want to introduce your answers now. Begin each answer with a small letter. Impedes the reader's understanding. Then use the semicolon to move to the next. Then you end the last sentence with a full stop. That was why I said the preamble method comes with lots of technicalities. Question C. In 3 sentences, one for each, summarize the 3 steps that a reader should take before referring to a dictionary. Like I said, the preamble, in which you should just simply reconstruct the questions. The 3 steps a reader should take before referring to a dictionary is that he should, then you give the column. 1, begin with a small letter. Guess the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Separate your sentences using semicolons, okay? Should read the whole passage. Should study the structure of the word. Then you end everything with a full stop, okay? Now you know the difference between the sentence method and the preamble method, and just pick the one you think will be easy for you, okay? The sentence method, every answer must begin with a capital letter and must end with a full stop. Avoid the mechanical errors, okay? And this is how you present your answers in the sentence method, okay? For question B, when they say 2 sentences, just separate them using the Roman figure or any other. You can use A, B, okay? It doesn't matter. But make sure your answers are in complete sentences. But for the preamble method, you use the introduction, which is the preamble itself, reconstructing the question. Then you introduce your answers using a column. Begin each answer with a small letter. Separate your sentences using semicolon. Then end your last sentence with a full stop. I hope this helps, okay? Now, if you're in Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, or the Gambia, please click on the link below to register for a free online session on paper 3 test of auras on May 1st. Upon confirmation, the Zoom link will be sent to you and there are very few seats available. On that day, I will walk you through the tricks. Most students dread this paper, but on that day, we will demystify it together. It's free. Once you register, you'll get the Zoom login details and the time. Thank you very much. I say wish you success in your in the forthcoming WAEC examinations. Thank you.